Hey there, mathematicians. Today we're going to be talking still about adding and subtracting decimals, like right here. And this is a reminder of all the topics in Unit 2. We have 5 major ones. And we've already practiced reading and writing and identifying those place values in decimal numbers. And that was the first 2 lessons and in our book. And then we even compared decimals. Right, there's some videos on that, and that was lesson 2-3. And then we're actually going to skip right down here. We've been adding and subtracting decimals in lessons 2-4 all the way until today, 2-7. And what I love about today is we're going to be learning some tricks about how numbers behave. They're called properties. That's going to make our job easier. So grab that math journal because we have to take some really cool notes, okay? We are going to be using properties to make our job easier. Let's go. Here is my math journal. And since we're dealing with decimals, I like to orient my math journal this way so that I can write numbers in these lines and keep all the place values lined up. It just helps me avoid making mistakes. So, are you curious about these properties? You've heard of them before, I'm sure. They are called the commutative and associative property. But I'm going to make that title here, and watch what I do. I'm going to write commutative and associative properties make our jobs easier or make math easier, okay? Commutative and right in the middle of a space kind of in the middle of the page, and there's my little fancy symbol for and, associative properties and then right under this little line here I'll write make math easier. We like that. We want to do less work. Boop, boop. Okay, now watch what I'm going to do here. I am going to draw a little car around this word. I'm going to make it look like a, let me see here. I'm going to make my hood here, my wheelbase there, another wheel, make my trunk of my car here. Oh, there we go. Oops. Oh, I can do little windows if I want. Oh, I can make my cars as fancy as I want. I wonder, I make my little wheels here, my little wheels here, something like that. Like my car? Why did I put commutative inside a car? And then on this one, I'm going to do, I'm going to write stick figures, holding hands, right? Like that, something like that. Associative. Maybe I'll put a couple stick figures here. Maybe I'll put 3 stick figures here. Holding hands. Woo! There we go. Why did I do that? Why did I put stick figures near associative in the car commutative? Let's see. I'm going to make another color. I'll make a dollar up here. Color my wheels. Why not? And then there's my fancy title. Associative and commutative. So let's remember, commutative, I wrote that and I encased that word in a car because it reminds me that of the word commute. Many of your parents might commute to work. When you go into college, you would commute. Sometimes you might drive to college and drive back. That's called commute, is to move back and forth. all right? And so the car kind of reminds me that I can move numbers back and forth to make math easier, okay? And then the associative problem word, that comes from the word associate. And we like to associate with people that make us feel good, they're nice and that are friendly, our friends. And we can do the same thing with numbers. We can move numbers together so that we can associate them. We can put numbers that are really friendly and they just so nice for our little brains to add so easily in our head. All right, so we are going to be using commutative and associative property, and we're going to work some examples and show you how it makes our math easier. All right, so first example, let's do something that's really familiar to you. What if I wrote 50,000 plus, here, let me do 50,000 plus 25,000 I hope I'm not going to use all these lines very well, am I? 50,000 plus 25,000 plus 38,000. Wow. Plus 75,000 plus 50,000. Okay? Now, the commutative property says that I can move these numbers around and not change the value of the answer. That's what it's saying. And it works when we add. And does it work for multiplication? We can move the factors around too. So these are the commutative and the associative properties for addition. So let's write this, for addition. And we're going to use that because we're adding and subtracting decimals here. Okay. Do you see, I could add these in my head, left to right, be kind of hard. But do you see any numbers that work well together, that are friendly, that you can add them in your head and make a nice, easy number to remember? Do you see any? Which ones would you group? Which ones would you group? Which ones would you move and put side by side? Oh, I see one. Do you? I see the 50 and the 50. I would want to move these two together. I'd want to associate those. But I first have to move them. Yeah. You see another one? You see any other ones that are kind of work really well together if I paired them up? Do you see this? I noticed the 75,000 and the 25,000. If I could move those side by side and associate them, that'd be really easy for me to add. Excuse me. Well, now my eyes are bothering me. Whew, okay, I'm back. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite these so that they're really easy to add up. Now watch. I'm going to move the 50,000 and the 50,000 side by side. It's going to rewrite it. 50,000 plus 50,000. Great. I moved those. Check. Now I want to move the 25,000 and the 75,000 together so that they are side by side. So I'm going to add the 25,000 and I'm going to move the 75,000 right beside it because I'm allowed to do that because the commutative property says I can do that. Okay? And then we've had this one and this one. The only number, or what we call the add-in, that we do not have to pair up or move is the 38,000. So I can't forget that. I'm just going to write that on the end, just like that. Okay, now we have just showed the commutative property, all right? This is the commutative property. I just move things around. So I'll write commutative. That's the commutative property, okay? Now, the associative property allows me to put things together so we can associate them and make our math easier. So we use parentheses for that, right? We're going to make them into nice friendly groups. So we already said that we think 50,000 and 50,000 really work well together. They're friendly. So I'm going to put, here, I'll do orange. 50,000 and 50,000. We want to associate them because it'll be easy for us to add. And we also said that we liked 75,000 and 25,000. So let's put parentheses around those two numbers to associate them. Okay? And look, we just used the associative property for this. Pretty cool, right? We use both properties. Okay, so let's add them. 50,000 plus 50,000. In parentheses, we work those first. Yeah, it's 100,000. We can do that in our heads. And what is 25,000 plus 75,000? That's also 100,000. Okay, so I could do that right here, 100,000. And then all I have to do is add to it 38,000. And we should, because we used the commutative property and moved the numbers around and associated friendly numbers, see our little friends there? We're now able to add this much more easily than we were if we added it from left to right up here. I can do 100,000 plus 100,000 plus 38,000 in my head. Can you? Did you get 238,000? I did. So I'm going to there's my final answer. So that's my first example. And I'm going to write example number 1. Okay, there we go. Just like that. Let's work another example. So we're very, very familiar with large whole numbers. You worked with those when you were younger. Let's introduce decimals. Which numbers work well together? Which ones would you move and where would you move them? Watch carefully. I'm going to change my pen color. You know me. So I'm going to start with 5/10 plus 25/100 plus 38/100 plus, let's do 75/100 plus, I'll do 5/10. Yeah, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values to add together. And we could do it mentally, starting from the left and moving all the way to the right. But maybe we can combine some numbers to make math easier. Which ones would you combine? Do you see it? Do you see the 5/10 and the 5/10? 5/10 plus 5/10? That equals 1. So let's combine those together. I run out of room, so I'm just going to put a little arrow like that. I'm going to combine these. Do you see anything else that makes a nice, easy number to remember? You see anything? We have 25/100, 38/100, 75/100. Any other pairs of numbers that work well, maybe? Ooh, look at that. That looks like a quarter to me. That looks like 75 cents. That equals $1 if I added those two together. Oh, that'd be so easy. 25/100. Let me use a different color. Use pink again. So 25/100 and 75/100 equals 1 whole. Let's move those. Let's rewrite it now. We want to move these two numbers together. So we're going to write it. I'll start off with the side here. 5/10 plus 5/10. Done. Move that one. Done. I'm going to check them off so I don't forget anything. And then we decided that 25/100 and 75/100 work well together. Okay, so I'm going to write that. 25/100 plus 75/100. Look, I'm just rewriting this in a better order. Check. And then I have my 38/100 left over. Okay. 38/100 left over. And then we need to associate them. We already know that these two numbers associate well. They're friendly. when you add them, you get a nice whole number or a number that's easy to remember. And we said that these two numbers work well together. We can associate them with parentheses. There we go. And then we can just tack that on at the end. All right, it'll be much more easy to add. So 5/10 plus 5/10 is 10/10, that giant one. That equals 1 plus, and then we said this also equals 1. And now all we have to do is add to it the 38/100ths. Do you know how to add 1 plus 1 plus 38/100ths? Can you do that in your head? Look, we made math easier just by taking a second, looking at the numbers, seeing which ones work well together, moving them around. And our answer we can do it in our head. I get 2 and 38/100ths. Da, da, da. Look. Very interesting. Very similar to this problem too, right? Did you notice how we were working numbers that were in the 10,000ths place? And here we were working with tenths and hundredths place. Very similar digits. Did you see that? Just curious. Let's do one more. Let's just do one more. Let's see if we can squeeze. If you can't squeeze this in, find a new page. Okay, so this was example 2. Alrighty, so we did some whole numbers. We used commutative and associative with decimal numbers or decimal fractions. Now let's just use it with real fractions, like regular fractions. Oh my gosh, let's review on that. What if we, new color, what if we were to add these fractions together? 2 and 4/5 plus, move that up there, 3/4 plus 5/17. Oy, oy, oy. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? This looks hard. I sure hope we can make it easier with these properties. Plus 1/4 plus 1/5. Okay, you might want to pause the video and try to predict what I'm going to say. So pause the video and think about which fractions you would associate because they add to such a nice, simple answer that you can keep in your head and do mentally, all right? So here's how I would think about it. I would associate, well, I see that these are fifths, and I know that 4/5 plus 1/5 is 5/5. 5/5 is a whole, so that 1 whole plus 2 equals 3. So I would actually associate these two. And so I'm going to rewrite those right now. 2 and 4/5 plus 1/5. And I'm even going to associate them right now. Boom. Right? Okay. And then, anything else? Oh, I see fourths. 3/4 plus 1/4 is 4/4. Another giant one. Oh, okay. I don't think I'm as stressed anymore. I think this is going to be pretty easy. So I'm going to write these. I should have put these in parentheses, right? I should have done that. Oh, well. And then I'm going to write 3/4 plus 1/4. And I'm going to associate these right now. Okay, so I've written these two. I've written these two. Now the only thing I have left to add is the 5/17. All right, I'm going to add that. Plus 5/17. I think we can do this, guys. We can do it. Because we already know that 4/5 plus 1/5 is 5/5. That equals 1 whole. 1 whole plus 2 is 3. All right. Then we add, we know that this sum is 1. And then we just have to add the 5 and the 17ths. Okay, let's take a vote. Would you rather add these from left to right, or would you rather add these at the bottom? Which one's easier? Definitely this. All we had to do was to commute and associate the numbers. I love properties. They make math so much easier. 3 plus 1 plus 5 and 5/17 is 4 and 5/17. I am so glad we didn't have to deal with that 17 as the denominator, weren't you? All right, there's my example number 3. All right, we are going to move on to our student activity book and use this knowledge in there. So finish up, grab that student activity book, and I'll see you there. Okay, so got that all set up. Grab your student activity book for lesson 2-7, and voila! We're going to practice this whole regrouping and reordering. What do you mean regrouping and reordering? Well, wait a minute. I think this reorder to move, right? We could put a little car around this one, couldn't we? If you want. If you like to draw. Beep, beep. All right, there's our little commute. There's our commute. Commutative. Right there, right? And then the regrouping is to group things together, to associate them with parentheses. So let's put big parentheses around the word regrouping, and that means to associate. Making kind of a mess here, but that's kind of fun. All righty. Now, look at this one. We already talked about this. The commutative property for addition, A plus B equals B plus A, is just saying that I can take any two numbers and I can reorder them and they are the same. The value is the same. That's what the equal sign means. This value is the same as that one. And then I can group them together, and after I reorder them, I could add these first, or I could add these first, and they would still be the same, right? It could still be the same value. Or it definitely is. All right, let's do it. I'm going to work I'm going to work 1 and 4, and I'm going to have you practice the decimals since that's what we're working on this time. All right. Do you see anything that you would associate first? Oh, I do. Oh, I do. I see the 70. I see 70 and 30. I know that's 100. So I'm going to write that first. I'm going to write 30,000 plus 70,000. Get that done first. I'm going to associate these. Look, I'm writing them vertically. I can associate them simply by putting them side by side in a vertical expression. And then, I like the 80 and the 20 because I know 80 and 20 make 100. So 20,000 and 80,000 also make 100. So I'm going to write that next. I'm going to color code that. So 20,000 plus 80,000. I can do that in my head. That gives me another. And then all I have left is this 49,000. So I'm going to write that at the end. And look at that. 100,000 plus 100,000 plus 49,000 is 249,000. There we go. See how I recorded that? All right. So I can associate, I can commute and associate up and down. Let's do the same thing for number 4. My conceptual brain is going to look for really friendly numbers that I want to reorder. Here I have a 6th, 11th, 4th. Ooh, here's a 6th. 5/6 and 1/6. Ooh, I like that. I like this. So I have my 6ths here, right? So let's add those together. Yeah, I'll do it vertically. 1/6 plus 5/6. Nice. See how I associated them simply by putting them side by side? What else? 11ths, 4ths, and 4ths. Ooh, 4ths. Let's do the 4ths. 3/4. See my 4ths? My 3/4 and my 1/4 is 4/4. Let's write it. 3/4 plus 1/4. Let's associate them. And then what do I have not? I have not considered the 11th fraction, 5/11ths. Okay, so I'm going to write that down here. 5. Oh, let me do a different color. Orange. 5/11ths. Why not? Okay, so 1/6 and 5/6 is 6/6. And that equals 1, does it not? And 3/4 and 1/4 equals 4/4. Look at these giant ones coming in handy. And that equals 1. And then all I have to do is add the 5/11ths. Ta-da! We are adding, right? Yes, we are. 2 and 5/11ths. Easy, easy lemon squeezy. There we go. I'd like you to apply what you know for the rest of this page. 2, 3, try 5, 6, and 7. You need the practice, all right? So that's going to be part of your homework, is to do the rest of this SAB page. And then I'm going to talk about the next property in another video, because boy, it's a really cool one, but it's going to take some time for us to make sense of it. Thanks for talking math. We'll talk soon.